I love these rose hips. They're probably one of my favorite berries out here, to be honest. This right here is a squirrel midden.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this is a squirrel midden right here. Midden spelled M-I-D-D-E-N. And midden essentially just means trash heap. That's basically what this is.
Oh yeah.
So these red tree squirrels, they're going to live in nests up around this midden. 3 to 4 nests around here in about a 100-yard radius. We have one right there, there's one up in that tree, there's one over there. So we can see 3 of them right here. Now they're gonna use those nests for different things, the way that we would use, the way that we would use the rooms of a house. So they'll use one for socializing, one for sleeping in, one for eating. What they're gonna do is this time of year, they're gonna collect a whole bunch of cones and hide them in these little holes, right? That they have all around their midden. Now that midden is really easy to dig through because it is just spruce cone shucking, right? That's just their trash from eating the seeds of those spruce cones in the wintertime. How cool is that? It can be 8 inches deep sometimes, those middens. This one is fairly medium sized, but I've seen them where they're literally this deep. So you probably know about this plant then, which is the one that killed him. This one has a neurotoxin in it called alkanavine. So, when Chris McCandless came out to Healy, Alaska, just down the road, about 8 miles, crossed over the Nenana River, and he, started surviving out there. Eventually decided that he wanted to go back, and went back to the Nenana and tried to cross, and he couldn't. It had gotten bigger because that's what rivers do, right? Now, had he thought about it a little bit, he would have realized that the Nenana is a glacially fed river, right? So, glacially fed glaciers melt more in the daytime than the nighttime. So it's going to be lower at night than during the day, right? So he didn't think about that, and hence he just went back, started eating a lot of this plant because he was starting to starve. And he was especially eating the seed pods, because he figured they probably have more nutrients. And he started to feel worse and worse and worse. And eventually, he ended up dying. Now, we're not sure what got him, the starvation or the alkanavine, but neither of them probably helped very much. But fortunately for me, it's not in the leaves, seed pods we have right here. So these seeds do have alkanavine in them. Northern spruce milky. So the northern spruce milky is one of our edible mushrooms out here. I'm not confident in that identification yet, but as soon as I break this cap, I will be confident in either it being or not.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
milky.
So let's find out. Booyah! Let's go. Yeah, so you see that? It's going to bleed a bright orange latex.
Yep.
As opposed to a white or yellow latex, which are the other common milkies that we have out here. The pink fringe milky and yellow bearded milky are pretty common, as well as the Shiner milk cap, which has a white latex as well, but it looks very different in the cap part. High bush cranberries. Now, high bush cranberries are not a true cranberry, although they might as well be for all intents and purposes. They are very tart, just like a cranberry. They ripen very late in the season, just like a cranberry. And they have a similar nutritional profile, being very high in vitamin C, as well as B1 and B2. So, if any of you guys want to try, okay, was it something like these here?
Yeah.
Aha! Yes, he's right. These are not cranberries. They're actually nothing like a cranberry. So these are pumpkin berries, or false toad flax, or northern Comanche. They've got a whole host of different names. They are actually also an edible berry. They're quite tasty. They taste almost exactly like a pea. If anyone wants to try one of these, go for it.
They didn't tell us dinner time.
I know. That's just me. Hey, you want to try one?
Oh,
They
wow.
taste exactly like a pea. It's crazy,
Really?
right?
It tastes
Yeah.
like a pea. Like, that tastes like a pea.
Well, that makes,
How's
you
your
probably should
texture?
eat one then.
I need another cranberry.
Frost. So it's going to keep the permafrost from melting at the same time the permafrost is creating the peat moss. So they kind of help each other out there. Now, if you stick your hand down into this peat moss a ways, you'll feel it gets very cold. That's because you're getting closer to that permafrost.
Oh
And so, yeah, right? Isn't that cool? So what the native Athabascans would do is they would tear up a section of this moss and dig out all that dirt underneath there down to the permafrost. And then they would put their food down there and close out that peat moss back on top. It would create a little refrigerator, right? It's like an ice chest, except for the ice is the earth. They would also use it to as like roofs and for insulation in their buildings. You can also use that for primitive shelters for building those as well. It's a symbiotic relationship where the mushroom gets amino acids and sugars from the tree's roots, and in return, the trees can communicate through that fungal layer, right? Through that mycelium layer that's underneath the ground. Now, if there's a tree that's been there for a long time that knows the signs of a drought, and it sees those signs, that'll send out signals to all the trees around it saying, hey guys, there's a drought coming, stop growing so much, start conserving your energy, right? And those trees around it will do that. Or, you know, if something comes along and eats the leaf power, and then it'll actually send out signals to everything around it saying, hey guys, there's something out here eating us, bitter up your bark, bitter up your leaves, make yourself less appetizing. How crazy is that? Now the really crazy thing is that these trees can decide that they don't like one of the other trees, right? They can decide that as a whole, you know, unit. Yeah, yeah, mean trees, exactly. So they can, you know, decide that they don't like one of these other trees, and they're basically going to kick it out of that group text, right? So they're going to kick that tree out, and then if there's a pest that comes along and one of the trees senses it and then sends out signals to the other trees saying, hey guys, there's a pest here, you know, start putting up your defenses for that pest, those other trees aren't going to get affected, but that one that's out of that group text that doesn't know what's happening is going to die from that pest.
Nailed it.
These are the days of the endless summer. These are the days, the time is now. There is no past, there's only future. There's only here, there's only now. Oh, your smiling face, your gracious presence, the fires of spring are kindling ground. Are the radiant heart, you're the song of glory, the cry of freedom in the night. These are the days by the sparkling river. His timely grace and our treasured faith. Turn the water into wine. are the days of the endless dancing. Yeah, the long walks on the summer night. These are the days of the true romancing. When I'm holding you, oh so tight. These are the days of a sparkling river and his timely grace in the treasure to find. This is the love of the one great magician and the water into wine. These are the days now that we must savor and we must enjoy as we can. These are the days that will last forever. You got to hold them in your heart. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na na na. Na na na. These are the days of the endless summer. These are the days, the time is now. There is no past, there's only future. There's only here, there's only now.